Doing a quick check here. Going live today to YouTube. Hello, hello. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get to the door. Doing a quick check here. Going live today to YouTube. Hello, hello. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get to the door. Doing a quick check here. Going live today to YouTube. Hello, hello. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get to the door. Well, what's up, everybody? As we get started, I kind of chime in every now and again, probably once a week. Maybe I should do this more often. Let me know if you have any questions. Just go in the comments and ask away, right? If you have any questions or anything that you want to ask about just residential homes, stuff like that. I generally come on board and ask a little bit, talk a little bit about the Houston Business Journal real estate residential news, right? You can find all kinds of different gurus on YouTube and Facebook and people that have their own agenda and all this kind of jazz. But you know what? I like to, I'm going to put our handy dandy screen there. Pull up the Houston Business Journal information, and I like to just kind of take a look at the articles that other people have written for sure. But I think some things are relevant, some things are not. It just really kind of depends, right? Actually, if you see an article that you want me to talk about or discuss, or you have questions about, go ahead, let me know. I can't get you to subscribe through me. I'm not endorsed by the Houston Business Journal or anything like that, but I love their info. I think they do a really great job of getting residential information. They also get good commercial real estate news, and I don't know. I think they really do a great job just kind of telling great stories, right? Well, not stories, but about what's happening right now, right? So I saw an article earlier, about relocation, corporate relocations and how it's changing in Texas, right? So very relevant to today. So we've seen corporate relocations for ages, but this time is different. Well, right? So we're going to hear a little bit from what David O'Reilly, CEO of Howard Hughes Corp, says about it, right? They have many communities around the country and do a great job. Their communities are awesome. But, so the nature of corporate migration is changing fast as companies chase talent around the country instead of people following employers, and the pandemic accelerated this shift. And it has big implications for Texas, being the huge relocation magnet, right? For its taxes, for its standard of living, and for its income and its commerce that's happening, right? Lots of stuff really, really going on. And it's been going on like that for ages for Texas. And it's been, I don't want to say it's been a kept secret, but it's been definitely a best kept secret because it's great to live out here. I've been here since 1998 and moved here from New York City. It has been all growth. I came here with a couple grand in my pocket, didn't know anybody, and wow. I mean, it's just amazing, amazing, right? So I'm a property owner, have a great career in real estate. It's, it's always hasn't been so rosy, but it's always been something that I've been able to grow, right? But anyways, so here's what they say, right? Migration trends of people and companies have changed largely because a tight labor market has given employees and prospective employees the upper hand in the give and take between people and companies for which they work, says David O'Reilly, CEO of Howard Hughes. He said in the interview with the Dallas Business Journal, right? And just to mention Howard Hughes, they have they're based in the Woodlands, but they have a nice community here in Houston as well too, called Bridgewood, which is wildly successful, right? What trends are you seeing with corporate relations as they affect the Texas and DFW, Dallas Fort Worth market, right? So because this cycle is clearly different than before. Once upon a time, we as business leaders or CEOs would say, hey, I'm going to put my business here because that's where I want to be. You know, and employees would throw the spouse, dog, luggage in the car and drive and wherever the company was going to be, right? I mean, and live there and move there. Yeah. This time is different, right? This time employees have, some sort of leverage because, it's this pandemic. There was pandemic and it's like kind of still happening. But technology has really awarded them the ability to work remotely, right? So affordability, great education, and access to nature. That is something that is really drawing people to migrate, right? And think now, companies are being forced to follow them, so to say, right? So for the past 15 years, we've grown the number of workers in this country by 1.5 million folks. This past year, it went down to 500,000. That's what he says, right? And it's a project. It is projected to remain below 500,000 until 2025, when it gets to break even in acceleration for boomers. Retiring early offsets those new workers entering the workforce, right? Here's the next question. Is the retirement of boomers the main issue, or is it the Great Resignation? Oh, that's a whole nother topic altogether, right? The Great Resignation. So, EOs, I don't know that the Great Resignation is I'm resigning and never going back to work. I mean, I don't even plan it. I think as I get older, I look at it like, well, I think that what I want to do needs to really align with my quality of life at that juncture, spending more time with my family and less time worrying about paying bills, right? Because I should already be at a perspective where I should be self-sustaining and stuff like that. I do want to work or still earn an income and make a difference in the world, but maybe it's not something that I need to be focused on, like I'm really retiring, right? No. So he says, like, I think the Great Resignation is I don't want to work here anymore. Yes. So I don't want to run the rat race anymore. I have a choice of where I want to work, right? So this is a big change of what it used to be, right? So because there are just more openings and there are workers to fill them today. So this is something that's changed everything as well too. There's so much more opportunity, right? Where we had to run where opportunity was before. I mean, that's why I came to Texas. It was great. Great work. I lived in Florida for a little bit. For me, wasn't so hot as for job outlook. However, but that was like in the 90s, right? A lot has changed. So Dallas Fort Worth has been long a magnet for companies relocating their headquarters. Now, how does this new wave factor into DFW specifically? Well, Dallas remains an incredible place to attract new companies. And it's not necessarily the headquarters relocation, but what we've seen is a lot of companies now pursuing a hub and a spoke mentality where they're going to have more offices in multiple locations to attract employees. Goldman Sachs, great example. Yes. Right. So they're struggling to hire. and it's a brand name. They have trouble hiring folks in Salt Lake City, and as a result, they have almost double their footprint in Dallas, right? Those type of situations are going to continue to grow with a lot of technology firms, financial firms, and anybody under the sun, right? So again, the way that all this change has come about so quickly has really afforded everyone the ability to be able to live almost anywhere and work, right? I mean, there are very few positions now where you're bound. I'm bound. Real estate, I have to be here, right? So here's the next question. In the future, is having a headquarters in your city or region going to be as important as it has been in the past, with a trend toward a hub and spoke approach, and companies following employees ahead of vice versa, right? So I think they already answered that question. Headquarters are really a technical location, largely for public companies, the large, big ExxonMobil, all these big companies, right? Where they actually need executive suites and all this kind of stuff, right? So I think we already answered that question. What does all this mean for residential housing? Now, this is what we've all been kind of wanting to hear, right? So here, I'm going to read on, right? So I think that the residential market is going to continue to remain strong, right? We know that. Well, I think that, when I meet customers on a day-to-day, they don't know. I mean, I still get the question every day, Alex, do you think the prices are going to fall or are going to come down? No, they're not. And so they go on to talk, right? Especially in these areas that are receiving so many folks moving to the Northeast, Pacific Northeast, West Coast, California, Midwest. There's more demand than available supply, even through mortgage rates that are higher, right? Inflation is making costs go up and becoming less affordable. So supply and demand supply is still incredibly low, and there's no relief in sight. There's nothing the Fed can do to change that. Supply is low, right? Demand, nothing really the Fed can do except for raise rates and to cause mortgage rates to kind of follow the bond rates so that they can, I guess, sort of intimidate your buyers, but really it's first-time home buyers, right? Into not purchasing right now. But the home prices aren't going to go down; they're just going to continue to go up because of supply, right? So the relative affordability levels of areas like Houston, Woodlands, Dallas, compared to San Francisco, Seattle, New York, Boston, are still dramatically different. And a 10% inflationary cost interest on a home and costs twice as much as California is as much more painful than 10% cost increase in a house that costs half as much in Houston or Dallas. Right. 10% inflation, right? Opposed to I'm getting 50% more home, right? The gross dollars are meaningful for sure. And this, I don't need to tell anybody, right? We know half of my buyers are from out of state. And it really is the locals that are having challenges with the changes. But like I said, Texas has been sort of a best kept secret, but we've known this for a long time. Population growth was going to happen, and mainly because commerce is great here, taxes are great here, standard of living is great here, measured against other large cities such as Houston, right? Yeah, not to harp on that, but prices are going to continue to go higher. I was reading another article earlier about builders talking about home prices and mortgage rates. So yeah, mortgage rates definitely, it hurts a little, right? It's like paying higher gas prices. But you know what? Paying higher gas prices at the pump, do you still need to go see grandma? Do you still need to get to work every day? You're going to have to do it, right? So just like a home, are you wanting to pay, so much more in rent, right? No, you still want to purchase a home because you kind of have to do it. So yeah, prices are still going to go up, and you got to have to kind of jump on board whenever you can, right? So I mean, not to be biased, this is just a fact. This is what is happening, right? So I digress, right? What are you seeing happening with rising mortgage rates, right? What are you seeing happening in rising mortgage rates, right? Well, he says the more important factor for our perspective is that it still remains meaningful supply and demand imbalance, right? So no matter what happens with the rates, the supply and demand imbalance is the issue, right? That way, because the prices will remain high and continue going higher, not high, but going higher as there's a shortage of supply, and there's nothing we can do about that, right? Interest rates, they can only go so high. I mean, if they're well, when I say they can only go so high, I mean it's just been as high as 18, almost 19% before, right? But I don't see us getting into that level just simply because we don't need to, right? I think based on what the Fed has said so far, I mean, we may see ourselves going into the 6 and 7, and this is just opinion. And I'm speculating here. I'm not quoting any articles. Do your own due diligence when trying to think about what's going to happen with interest rates and what the Fed's going to do in bond rates and indexes, all this kind of stuff. Do your own research is very important, especially if you're purchasing or looking to purchase a home in the next few months to a year. I think in 2023, we really don't know that far out what is going to happen, but we can definitely see some changes going into 2023. So we'll talk about that later, right? So there he goes on to say, there's much more demand for from home buyers, and therefore home builders to find lots and have a shortage of finished lots on the ground. This is so true. So if everybody that has already purchased a home and they have a great interest rate, they're not so apt to put their home on the market. So there's not going to be any more resale that just floods the market, right? So everybody that's looking for a home is counting on new construction, or most of it is counting on most customers are counting on new construction to be able to fill that gap, fill that demand. But unfortunately, it's not possible, right? Year over year, you've seen the builders. You can check their earnings reports. They're building more than ever, right? 15, 20% more than year over year, and these are record level increases of buildings. Of building homes, and they can't keep up. There's not enough, right? Yeah, we're inching up a little bit in inventory, but we're still at record low inventory levels. You don't have to trust me or Houston Business Journal. You can take a look at it from Houston Association of Realtors and see how much inventory is actually there. Not a lot. When you go in for a search, I mean, I just did one yesterday for a customer, and 50% of the homes that were on there that did the search were contract pending or were already under contract, and everything else that was sitting there was only sitting there in availability, just a few days. So meaning there in a few days they're going to be contract pending, right? Waiting for additional homes to come on the market as well too. So the cycle and turnover is very quick. So word to the wise, if you find something that you love or halfway like, and it's affordable, my suggestion is get it now. But again, talk to a real estate professional. If you want to talk a little bit more about it and about your journey into purchasing a new home, go ahead and contact me, right? So there's lots of ways at newhomeknowitall.com, or you can reach me at any of my links to try to schedule an appointment as well too. It's in my comment section or in the description below. So it goes on to say, we are down in the Houston market, which is where we do a lot of land sales and home builders to less than 11 months of supply. Wow, I mean, a lot. And it would I would argue that about 18 months of supply is equilibrium. He's talking about new construction now, right? Talking about new construction, not talking about resale, new construction. So that's close to a record low, and it's probably about half a month off of record low from 2 quarters ago, right? That still needs time to fall back into balance, as I think as a result, you will continue to see home builders invest in land and create finished lots to sell homes to home buyers because those home buyers are still there. Yes. So the interest rates, they went up, right? And people are taking a pause, but their situation hasn't changed, right? If I'm waiting to go out to eat dinner with the family, and there's something that's happening, and somebody needs to continue to get ready to go out and all this kind of stuff. I'm just using this as an analogy, right? Well, maybe I have to wait another hour, but that doesn't, there's my challenge, right? Just kind of like interest rates are challenges, but that doesn't change what I still feel. I still feel hungry. I still gotta feel, want to go out and eat dinner. So are we gonna eventually go out to eat dinner? Yes. It's just gonna take a little longer, right? So everybody that's there, keep your ear to the ground. Any real estate professionals that are working with you closely, wow, those are the individuals that you want to continue to work with, right? Not all real estate professionals are the same. I'll give you I'm going to go on a little bit of soapbox, okay? So you get to talk to a lot of real estate professionals, new home consultants, real estate gurus that are on your social media advertisements saying that they're going to spend time with you. But it's the one that spend time with you, right? And talk to you about something that you didn't know, just like this, right? Those are the ones that are going to help you the most, get you into the best situation possible on your journey. Yeah, I guarantee you this. This is time and time again, right? It's unfortunate. I bump into so many customers that walk into my Welcome Home Center at my model home, and they tell me that they're either their real estate professional or the new home consultants that they've seen before, 20, 30 homes that they visited, never told them about some certain things that are very elementary. Like, what kind of payment are you looking for? I have customers that walk in the door and tell me, I have no idea, even though they've visited 20 some odd home sites, and talk with maybe 20, 30 real estate professionals that didn't help them boil that down because they were scared to have a conversation with them. That's unfortunate. I'm not necessarily scared to have a conversation about something that's very pertinent to someone. When you purchase a home, and if you're not purchasing in cash, that monthly payment is almost your number one top reason of why you purchase the specific home that you purchase, right? Aside of all the wonderful decorative items that are in the home, the lot location and all this kind of stuff, right? All that's great, but if the payment doesn't fit, doesn't work, right? So why are people having such a hard time having conversation about what your mortgage payment might look like? Why? If your professional that you're working with isn't having this kind of conversation with you, you need to reach out to me. Yeah, you need to reach out to me. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox. Sorry. I'll get back to the article. So, just to kind of go on, right? What else do you see by the way of migration trends? Now, remember, we're listening to the CEO of Howard Hughes, right? So he says, I think that the low tax states have clearly been winners. Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Florida, right? We know this. Everybody's going there. The United States is being low half heavy now. So many people migrating. We don't see that trend slowing. Those are the states that are the highest number of U-Haul traffic, Penske traffic, and it's not a surprise. They offer not just a business-friendly, low tax rates, but quality of life, great education, access to outdoors and nature, which become paramount post-pandemic that many other states just can't. Yep. If you're listening to this and you're not in one of these states and you're thinking about changing, getting a change, and you want to talk a little bit about lifestyle here, anything, right? Just talk a little bit about, hey, what's it take to get into a home here in Houston, Texas, whatever, let me know, right? We can schedule a time and talk a lot about it, right? Actually, a lot of my customers were doing virtual appointments today, so no worries about that. So what is the pipeline for Howard Hughes? He just bought a whole bunch of land out in Phoenix. Fabulous. I mean, so a lot of confidence. What this say? Why am I pointing this out? There's a lot of confidence in real estate today, right? I mean, that's big money right there. So I understand you may be looking for a home and think to yourself, well, I don't know if this is the right time. This is the right time for sure, right? I wanted to show you another article And let me refresh the screen here. And this article, really quick, right? Lennar, my company, right? And MI Homes, they buy 262 acres in Morin Ranch, master plan community near Willis. That's just north of Conroe, right? North of Conroe. And we're going to get rid of this advertisement because this is driving me nuts. Stop seeing this ad, yes. So we're going to scroll up. And it's just north of Conroe. And here's an aerial view of the 500-acre Morin Ranch, right? So huge, huge place. Yes, this is how it looks in Texas. It's awesome, right? I love it here, right? So these two Houston locations bought about, what was it? What was the acreage again? 262 acres. Wow, that's a lot of homes, right? So it's on I-45 North. It's just on the outskirts of Conroe, Woodlands area, Spring, right? So really easy access, probably maybe 30 minutes to George Bush AAH Airport, right? So really, really great location. But anyways, this just further talks about the confidence in real estate moving forward, right? This is big money when you're talking about that much land in a hot location as well too, right? So again, folks, thanks again for tuning in. I'll try to tune in much more. I saw some other articles I want to talk about here again soon. If you have any questions or if you have any comments or you just want to talk about real estate alone, or if you're a real estate professional and you want to sit and chat, maybe we can collaborate. I'm here to help. My name is Alex. You're a New Home Know-It-All, and you're watching Ask New Home Know-It-All. Have a great day.